Well, hello everyone. It's me, Nick Fay, of Nick Fay Gaming, for a new video about a Victoria 3 Dev Diary. So, today, we have the second episode of this series. It's about capacities. So, of course, it's not me who provides the content, right? It's Paradox. Thank you, Paradox. Thank you very much. So, to be honest, I was not a really hard player of Victoria 2, so I don't know much, to be honest. So, let's see what we have here. So I'm as clueless as you are, or maybe even less, more clueless than you are, because basically maybe you've watched other people talking about it, or maybe you actually read the Dev Diary before me. But yeah, that's basically it. So let's just dive in. Hello and welcome back to another Victoria 3 Dev Diary. Today we'll be talking about three of the four of the main currencies of the game, namely capacities. Alright, capacities. The last being money, and which we'll of course come back to later. Alright. We mentioned in the very first Dev Diary there is no mana in Vic 3. So, guys, with this mana, right? It's the Diplo point, the admin points, and the military points in EU4, for example. And since this Dev Diary is about the game's currencies, I want to be clear on what I mean by that. When we say there's no mana, we mean that the resources in Victoria 3 arise and are spent in clearly defined ways that are part of the simulation. So, I don't think that people in EU4 actually have military points that they invest in technology, in real life, in the time frame. It's more on the simulation side, right? Not only from an overly abstract concept of vague idea, there's of course some degree of abstraction involved. All games are abstractions after all, of course. But we want all the game's currencies to be strongly rooted in the mechanics and not feel arbitrary, like mana points would be, of course. But enough about that, and onto capacities. What exactly are they? Well, for starters, calling them currencies is not actually accurate. Capacities are not a pooled resource and are not accumulated or spent, but instead have a generation, constant usage, similar to, for example, admin capacity in Stellaris. Alright. And you generally want to keep your usage from exceeding your generation. What? So you would like to use more than you gain? Would that be possible? I mean, maybe I don't understand really what they mean. Each capacity represents one specific area of your nation's ability to govern, and is used solely for matters relating to that area. All right. Okay, let's continue. As mentioned, capacities are not accumulated. All right, so excess generation is not pooled, but instead there is an effect for each capacity, which is positive generation exceeds usage, and quite negative if usage exceeds generation. Alright, so okay. Oh yeah, okay, I was just mistaken. I didn't understand really what they meant. So you have malices if you exceed your generation, of course. Where were we? All right. A country that incorporates territory left and right without expanding its bureaucratic core may quickly find itself mired in debt as tax collection collapses under the strain. I mean, definitely you need to administer your the provinces that you'll govern on, right? I mean, I don't think that's really something that you do. For example, in EU4, right? You just incorporate territory and you diminish its autonomy, and that's how you get more tax. Yeah, maybe that's a bit dumb, of course. Bureaucracy represents the nation's ability to govern. Invested in invest in, and collect taxes from its incorporated territory. It is produced by the government administration building. Okay. Where many of a nation's bureaucrats will be employed, all of a nation's incorporated states use a base amount of bureaucracy which increases with the size of their population. That's clear. And further increased by each institution. Alright. Oh, so there is actually an institution. Yeah, there is. Fuck, man. Fuck me. Such as education or police. More on that later. That a country has invested in. Overall, the purpose of bureaucracy is to ensure that there is a cost to ruling over, taxing and providing for your population. Administering China should not be cheap. Yeah, that's fair. All right. The Swedish bureaucracy is currently a bit overworked, and the country could certainly benefit from another government administration building or two. Bureaucracy deficit. So that's actually kind of mana points, actually. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. So bureaucracy is... That's points. That's surprising. I mean, to say the least, of course. Okay. Let's continue. Authority represents the head of state's personal power and ability to enact change in the country through decree. It is generated from your laws, generally. The most repressive and authoritarian of the country, the more authority it will generate. Oh, yes. Like someone will say, really based. And is used by a variety of actions, such as enacting decrees in specific states, interacting with interest groups, and promoting or banning certain types of goods. So what I ask myself is that if, for example, you're more democratic country, will you gain like less authority? That's a question. All right. Yeah, less. Yeah, we were there interacting with. Yeah, that's basically it. Banning certain types of goods. So banning cigarettes, for example. I guess. I mean, if they are in the game, well. Overall, the purpose of authority is to create an interesting trade-off between more and less authoritarian societies. By shifting the distribution of power away from pops into the lands of the ruler, your ability to control by decree is increased, and vice versa. Okay, so here, the Swedish king has more authority at his disposal than he is currently using, slightly speeding up the rate at which laws can be passed. Interesting. Like, would it be like good to have more generated than what you spend? Like, is it a kind of trade-off on some kind of way? Since, like, for example, you could gain more money if you have less authority in a province, or like in your government. I love it because you'll need to like think about a lot of things, right? I mean, it's not just I just increase. That's all. Like that's pretty good. All right. Influence represents a country's ability to conduct diplomacy and its reach on the global stage. It is generated primarily from your rank. Great powers have more influence than major powers, and so on. Yeah. And it is used to support ongoing diplomatic actions and pacts, such as improving relations, alliances, trade deals, subjects, and so on. Overall, the purpose of influence is to force players to make interesting choices about which foreign countries they want to build strong diplomatic relationships with. Sweden has plenty of unused influence and could certainly afford to support another diplomatic pact or two. Yeah, they are like at their max, so that would be a bad thing, right? Okay, interesting. So like you lose influence when you do diplomatic accents. Huh. Okay, so like for example here, just the fact that they have a PU over Norway, they lose influence. Interesting. That's all for today. Join us, blah blah blah. All right, so I guess I'm gonna say the same than the Paradox Boys. So guys, if you like the video, and if you would like to talk about it, I mean, go in the comments. If you like the video, like it. If you would like to see more of those, subscribe, of course. If you have any advice, just give me some in the comments. And yeah, that's basically it. Well, see you. It was Nick Gaming here for a new video, of course. And signing off.